Those vegan guys. Thank you.
You're all excited because the 25th is fast approaching, but the problem is for you, you've just gone vegan. You have no idea what to be cooking for yourself, either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So we've dragged along Paul and Jason, and you're starting to pretend for recognizing their accents. And this is absolutely a clash of accents right here, except for Ez, who has neutral. So Jason, Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us. Indeed, yeah, thanks. Great to be here.
You're very welcome. It is a clash of the accents. I think I prefer your accent, but is it an Oldham accent or just a general Lancashire?
Ooh. Oh, that's a good question. Is it? What is it? It's an Oldham accent, isn't it?
I think you're more general Lancashire than me. I'm very Oldham.
Yeah.
My aunt used to come. She lived in Blackburn, so she had a similar sort of accent. I guess it's slightly different. Right. You have lots and lots of viewers on your YouTube channel. And so that means you're helping an awful lot of people. First off, Jason, how did you both get into veganism? Was it like one day you just woke up and there's bing, I'm vegan? Or was it like a period of time where you slowly thought, well, I'm going to put that out of my life, I'm going to put that, and slowly went forward?
Yeah, it's a tricky one to kind of quantify, because Paul usually sort of tells the tale of our transition to veganism, because it did kind of come about quite suddenly, didn't it?
It did.
You can pass the conversation over, by the way, Jason. You can say, yeah, catch this, Paul.
We were already vegetarian, so that's an important note. And then a friend of mine called Lee recommended a documentary called Vegucated. It's a brilliant documentary. It's about 3 Americans who are challenged to go vegan over a 6-week period. And I watched it once and was really impacted by it. And then at the time I was a care worker, and I used to do one-to-one kind of support for people with mental health issues, with autism, so on and so forth. This lovely guy that I worked with who was autistic, I told him about the documentary, and he said, will you watch it with me? Can we watch it together? And as I say, I'd already seen it once, and I watched it again, and I think the second time around, I'd let my barriers down, and it hit me hard, really hard. And I came home to Jason, and because I'm the cook, when all said and done, I made the rules in the kitchen.
Yes.
I said, well, we're going vegan from this point forward. Phoned my friend Debbie, because I had a load of vegetarian stuff in the fridge and freezer. Phoned my friend Debbie, said, come and pick all this up, everything. I need it out of my house right now. I'm done with this. And we went vegan that day.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's fair to point out as well that I was kind of quite happy to go along for the ride initially. But then I think the weeks that followed that really important decision that was made, we watched a couple of other things that kind of reinforced. So I distinctly remember watching Cowspiracy, and just having everything really suddenly just concrete in my mind, like, yeah, there is now there's no going back ever, in terms of just looking at the reality, without going into too much detail here on the interview, but just looking at the reality surrounding the dairy industry, not just in America, where obviously everything is sort of magnified by 1,000, but here in the UK as well, just the fact that it's not something that's sustainable, it's not something that's healthy, and most importantly of all, it's just a terrible environment for the animals, full stop. So it was a cumulative thing, but it was that concrete decision, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was done that day. It was, and we struggled at first. We didn't really, I mean, we're talking 8 years ago. The supermarkets didn't have all the stuff that they're having now. And so the only place I knew to buy anything that was definitely vegan was Holland and Barrett. And now they've scaled back their fridges and
they don't do any fresh food at all now.
No, which is really, really sad, because they did some awesome stuff.
Yes, they did.
And so for the first couple of years, it was basically fruit, veg, and Holland and Barrett.
Thank you, Holland and Barrett. Not sponsored by.
Thank you, yes, for helping us to bridge that gap. But now, of course, it's so easy because every major supermarket has their own vegan range, and there are literally alternatives for everything.
Yeah, I mean, and that brings me on to asking you about your YouTube channel. Those Vegan Guys, that's how I first found out who you were. And I one of my favorite videos that you did was the I think it was Veganuary, potentially last year's actually, but just when you go around the supermarkets and show everybody, to encourage those people who've chosen to go on that journey, even if it is just for January. And you're so lovely to watch. You're very easy to connect with. You are literally down to earth vegans. I just wanted to share that because it's really important, I think, for people to feel that they can connect with normal people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you've mentioned those shopping vlogs as well, because they are a mainstay of our channel. And the reason we started to do them is because we knew that if somebody came to the conclusion, okay, I'm going vegan, they go to a supermarket, it can be extremely daunting.
Yes.
And when you first go to a supermarket as a new vegan, rather than seeing all of the things that you can have, you suddenly see a supermarket full of stuff you can't have anymore. And it can be really daunting. And so we kind of, right from when we first started the channel, thought, wouldn't it be great to do shopping guides that clearly show people, here's what you can buy. Look, there's cheese and sausages and pies and bacon and steak. And now, you know,
it was that it was kind of like that philosophy around what would have helped us when we went vegan, and that was kind of the philosophy behind Paul writing the free ebook as well. It was kind of that, what would have really helped us when we went vegan. And it's about not being condescending, making things as simple as possible, and helping people to understand that actually there doesn't have to be a massive cost variance in going vegan or getting onto that journey and starting to incorporate vegan stuff into your diet.
Yeah, and that's something I've really noticed as well with your evening sort of meal videos where you do like 7 days of veganism. I don't think they're titled that, but I think they're fantastic as well, because that really encourages people to see that you can have the simple, tasty vegan meals, but you can also, you know, jazz it up a bit if you want. And Jason, your videos at work, I love those, where you're showing us I love the fact that you always flip the packaging over to show everybody, because things like that people miss. And then people get put off because they think, oh, I don't know what's in that, so I don't know if I'm interested. And I'm guessing you'll be doing some leading up further and further to Christmas.
We're going to be doing what's classically known on YouTube as Vlogmas, which is a vlog every day from the 1st of December to Christmas Day. We did it last year, didn't we? And it was hugely successful and really helpful for a lot of people. And of course, for the last 2 years, and it will be exactly the same this year, we have our Christmas dinner live on YouTube. But that comes from a place of I can't handle the thought of anyone being alone at Christmas. I just can't. It crushes me. And so if I can sit and eat my Christmas dinner online, knowing that somebody who would otherwise be alone is watching, job done.
Yeah, I think that's really thoughtful, and I think there is a lot of thought that goes and a lot of passion that goes into what you do. But there's also not, you know, it's not what's the word? It's just, you're just very, very easy to connect with, as I was saying earlier. And I think some of the vegan blogs, although they're trying to be helpful, some of them are a bit overwhelming. When people are showing you very what I would call like fancy cooking, you know, it's great to watch those things, but I wonder how many people actually feel able to do them. And I've tried, well, not obviously, but I've tried making some of your meals and your peas, which I hadn't tried before. Paul's peas, I call them. I haven't had them for a while. We are rapidly running out of time. And I know that we're gonna have another interview with you.
Well, we're gonna have a part 2, so we're just gonna take a short break.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back with you.
Oh, before we go, can we just share with the listeners where they can find you?
If you Google Those Vegan Guys, you'll find all of our social media, but the best place to find us is on YouTube, because we share pretty much everything about our lives on there. We've got an amazing network of people that have kind of built up around us, who have a very similar ethos, passionate vegans who don't stand for any nastiness.
Yes.
Yeah, the community on YouTube, that Paul's absolutely right. Best place to connect with us. The community that's kind of come up around the channel on YouTube is a supportive community. We're really proud of it, and it's a community that builds people up. It doesn't break people down.
Yeah.
So that's the best place to link with us for a plethora of content.
Good word.
I like to say that word with extra on the end. Plethora. Oh, that was 3 extra also, you've got a slogan. Can you just share that with us?
Is it the down to earth one?
No, but the bow.
Oh, yeah. That's what we end all our videos with.
Oh, yes, of course.
Go on then. Do it.
Drum roll.
Quite simply, be excellent to yourselves and
then
each other.
Thank you so much.
This is Shoutout Radio. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to Paul and Jason, the vegan guys. Now we're going to talk about your backstory. And so, Paul, first, growing up, was it difficult for you to come out?
Yeah, massively. I think first and foremost, I have to be very honest here. But as a small boy, from a kind of toddler until my early teens, I knew that I should have been born a girl, and that was all I knew. And I was very confused. I didn't fit in. I just felt very alien, I suppose. And then I discovered that there was a gay youth group in Manchester run by a fabulous lady called Joyce. The address at the time was 61A Bloom Street, I shall never forget, right facing the New York pub in Manchester. And I found this youth group, and I went one Saturday afternoon, and all of the boys in there were just like me. They were feminine, and they didn't give a damn about that, and they embraced it, and I felt like I'd found home.
Did you at any point feel as though you were gender dysphoric, or think that maybe you were trans?
I think this is going to sound random as well. I think spiritually I am trans.
Okay. There
is too much in me for one gender.
I'm liking that.
There's far too much of me. And at one point, I actually started the journey to make the outside match the inside. That was in the early 90s. And then I got to a point where I just thought, because I do drag, and because Gemini is such a massive part of my life, and she is a she, and she is a separate entity to me. She is one of my closest friends, one of the most important people in the world to me. And because I could express her, because she could be there anytime I wanted her to be, that was enough for me. I just one day decided, I'm okay, physically I'm cis male. am I happy to stay that way, knowing that at any point I can bring Gemini out and express that part of me? And I just decided, yeah, I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that. And so I'm still very, I feel very complex. I definitely feel like there are several people in here and we all have made it work together somehow.
Oh, I'm special. I'm lovely.
And when I need to bring a part of me, when Gemini wants to come out, she'll come out. Even if I'm dressed as Paul, Gemini will still come out with phrases and terms and things. But of course, when I'm actually in drag, and I use that word because it's a common word, because I'm not massively keen on it. It's to me, it's not when I'm in drag, it's when I become Gemini. I am as comfortable there as I am here. And I love that. I love that duplicity, that, you know, that we all live together in this tiny box in my head. And we get along just fine.
It sounds like you know, throughout that journey from sort of, you know, being young you and until now, one, it's been a big journey, but two, it's been one that it sort of sounds like you've arrived and you know who you are. And I really love what you said then. There is too much in me for one gender, and that you're comfortable with that and that you're expressing that. And I expect the love from Jason to make an assumption makes you feel confident in that expression.
Oh, nobody has. Can we get smushy for a second?
Oh, of course.
Nobody has ever loved me as wholly and completely as Jason does, which is why we've been together for nearly 25 years now.
Yes.
Well, for nearly 25 years. Why we've been married for almost 13 years. When I met Jason, I found my soulmate, and he found that he could have a relationship with every part of me.
Sounds, Jason, like you had a bargain. Multiple pack buy there.
Yeah, I got a great deal. I got a really great deal, to be honest. And just kind of, I'm conscious of time, but just to kind of pick up on what Paul had said, you know, in comparison, I count myself very lucky in terms of my coming out story. My grandparents, my parents, my sister, you know, were fantastic. And equally, my grandparents, bless them, and they're not with us anymore, but absolutely adored Paul. All and every facets, all the different parts. Mum and dad, you know, love him to bits, love us to bits. I count myself as being one of the lucky ones in that respect, because I know how much hardship, particularly young people, go through, be that with their sexuality or their gender. I think one of the things that really helped me was when I got into my sort of mid-20s, that sudden realization that sexuality is a very, very broad spectrum, and just kind of acknowledging that, and that it's okay for people to sit anywhere on that spectrum. And that's just fine, that you don't necessarily have to be gay or straight or, you know, there's so many variables in there. And I think when I started to understand that, and I think a lot of young people now find it a bit easier because they don't necessarily have to be put in one specific box and say, oh, this is me, and then I have to own that for the rest of my life. So it's fluid, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's that kind of links in with the way in which people can perceive gender as well. And I think a lot of younger people are feeling more comfortable in their gender expression from a younger age, because one, there's words for it now. I didn't have words for being non-binary or genderqueer or pansexual growing up, and I didn't really fit into any box, or the LGBT community didn't want me to sit with them, and so that was difficult. And you know, so because I didn't have any way of connecting with them properly, or so I felt. But I think now you can use any word and hopefully find somebody, or there's groups at school just for LGBTQI plus people, so that they feel part of something, and don't have to feel alone. But I do know some people still have a really difficult time of it, and in coming out and in telling their family, whether that's because of their sexuality and or their gender. Oh, okay. So thank you so much for being so open with us today. I really feel like this interview could go on for a really long time. There's so much to hear about your history, really, and what got you to where you are now. So maybe in the new year we could have a part 3. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Of course, in the meantime, if people want to check out our YouTube channel, we've got vlogs on there that kind of tell you our story of how we met, tell you what our tattoos mean, why we went vegan.
Loads of mental health stuff.
I think
that's the thing, is that one of the things we realised right from the start is actually, what is our YouTube channel? It's not actually a vegan channel. It's a lifestyle channel.
It's about Paul and Jason.
Yeah.
And our lives are beautifully complex and diverse.
They're definitely that.
Excellent.
And also, Paul, just to end, if you were to ever write an autobiography, I think it should be called 61A Bloom Street.
Yeah.
Or my journey from 61A Bloom Street.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you. And
just to remind people that Paul and Jason do a live on Christmas Day. So if any of you are feeling lonely, if any of you are by yourself at home, or if any of you just want to watch 2 top vegan guys, do check them out, because it will make you feel like you've got some really good company.
Thank you, Paul, Jason.
Bye for now.
Thank you.
You're listening to Shoutout Radio.
Yay!
That's it.